everyone, it's Brianna and welcome back to another video. It has been a long time. Things got really insane. I had Christmas break and I actually filmed 2 videos while I was away, but with everything going on at home and like I came down sick, it's just I never got around to editing them. They are gonna go up eventually, but they just haven't gone up now. But this one's gonna go up immediately because this one is really special. I'm so excited about this one. As you can see, I'm repping my Black Veil Bride shirt again. I haven't worn it. Well, I really only ever wear it if I'm doing something related to the band. So, and that's what I'm doing. Yesterday at midnight, Black Veil Brides released their 5th album, Vale, and I am so excited to talk about it, guys. It is such a good album, and I really want you to hear like what I have to say about it because I've got a lot of theories involving it, and if you haven't listened to it yet, you can get some ideas on what you're looking at with it. I'm really excited to show it to you guys. I don't actually have a physical copy yet, but I've been listening to it nonstop on YouTube. It's fantastic. So if you want to hear some fantastic theories about Vale and its place in the Legion of the Black story, as well as my personal opinion on the album and the songs and all of that, definitely stay tuned. Okay, so first of all, I want to talk about the album itself. So they started actually teasing this album over a year ago. It was around September of 2016. They released Outsider, which was their first single for it. They had been planning to release the new album, Vale, in 2017, late 2017, but they didn't. It got pushed back. It just got released though yesterday on January 12th. My birthday actually. I just turned 19. I'm really excited. I was so excited about it, but I got really upset because I pre-ordered the album 3 months ago and I won't be getting the physical copy until the 18th. They're not actually sending it to me on the day that it was released. I was really disappointed. So first of all, I'm gonna go through the songs and the album itself before going over my theories about it. The first song on the album is Incipiens ad finem, which is Latin for starting at the end. I have no theory on what the heck that's supposed to mean, but in it, it's literally just Andy, the lead singer, talking. He says something about, in the end we found our stage, something like, fear not for the future, our Legion of the Black. Something like that. And so when I first heard that, I got a little shook because so this album, Vale, is supposed to be a sequel to BVB's 3rd album, Wretched and Divine, which was a concept record about this rebellion involving a group called the Wild Ones, which was the band rebelling against this tyrant religious government called Fear, for every and all religion is what it was called. And it was a really, really good concept record. It was a very strict concept record too. I mean, you can listen to that album from beginning to end and like picture the entire story as it's happening because they did such a good job on it. And this album is supposed to be a sequel. I totally understand why they went back to it because the story for Wretched and Divine was fantastic. It was so much fun and every fan really loves that story, and we've always wanted to know more because it's kind of left on a cliffhanger. So Incipiens ad finem, with Andy speaking, it totally reminds me of the times when Andy would speak in different parts of Wretched and Divine. Things like, the God does not exist, I cannot deny that my whole being cries out for a God, I cannot forget. I can't remember the name of it, but like, there was 2 of them where Andy spoke, and then there was 3 transmissions from Fear in it. So it was kind of this like referencing what they did in that album, and I was super excited. Also, it says something like I said, fear not for the future, our Legion of the Black. That's not what it says, but it does say our Legion of the Black. That to me is directly speaking to the fans or to the Legion of the Black. The Legion of the Black in theory was like the fans fighting this tyrant group, yeah. So it's like, to me, it's talking to the fans. What exactly it means, I don't know. maybe it's just saying that the band isn't going anywhere. There's been a lot of speculation that the band is going to break up, especially because they took like I think a 2 or 3 year break. Everyone was going, oh, they're going to break up. That's it. BBB's done. No, I don't think they are. And I think that's what that was kind of saying. It's like, don't worry about the future. We're not going anywhere. That's just my opinion. Second song on the album is called The Last One. I love that song. It's got really heavy guitar and bass and it's got such a great beat. I love that song. I love this whole album actually. It sounds like they're talking about a last fight against fear. Like this is gonna be their last fight, they're coming back. It says Legion of the Underground in the song, and that to me is a direct reference to Wretched and Divine. Can't remember which song it is, but it's somewhere in the first half of the album of Wretched and Divine. Another lyric says, not Legion of the Underground, but like something about the underground, us being the underground and fighting. I used to think it said underdogs, that's why I always remember that said that. Wake Up is the third song. They also just released a music video for it, which I will also go over. That one actually to me seems to be a massive political statement. BVB has never exactly shied away from making their statements, but they've never been this see-through with how political they are. This song kind of sounds like they're telling everyone, wake up, the government is screwed or the world is screwed, you guys are all like in this daze and you're not paying attention to what's happening. One of the lyrics says, create a holy war and sell it back to you. To me, that's like a huge reference to like the wars in the Middle East, where America is like fighting a holy war, if you will, against the bad guys and then selling it to us, and you know, like capitalism, like making us promote it. But the song is also really fun. This is one of those songs I could definitely hear them playing live and us like all chanting wake up. Like it's just such a fun song. This can also of course reference fear. In the original story, it seemed that the people were sort of like brainwashed of sorts. Not exactly brainwashed, but just they kind of had all their individual thoughts stripped away, and so it's like telling everyone, wake up, it's not what you think. The fourth song on the album is When They Call My Name, which is another single that they released earlier in 2017, because now it's 2018. This is a ballad. I love this song. A lot of people, when it came out, they were saying it reminds them of Andy Black, which I do kind of see what they're saying, but when you listen to it in context with the whole album, it doesn't. When you listen to it as a single, you go, this kind of sounds like Andy's solo stuff. It doesn't really sound BBB, but then when you put it in context, it like, you're like, that's BBB. It's like a Lost It All or Mortician's Daughter. Not quite the same, but I mean, like, it's a ballad like those. It kind of sounds a little bit like a love song. If you listen to the lyrics, it says, like, I need you to tell me everything will be all right, to chase away the voices in the night. It sounds like he's asking, or the person singing, Andy, is asking, like, the significant other to be his, like, rock of sorts. And that's what I kind of see with it, and I really like it. It kind of also, like, as far as storyline in the album, it kind of sounds like maybe it's coming after a battle. Like, I think Wake Up is like this initial battle, the first battle of the story, and then When They Call My Name is this after part, him kind of like reflecting on it and being like, this is gonna be hard, I need help. The fourth song is The Outsider, which was the first single they released over a year ago. Everyone like knows this song by now because it's just like, it's a bop. Like, it's like, it says, I am the outsider. I am the person who stands on the outside, and like, you all like look at me and you don't, yeah, you're literally the outsider, and that's also what the wild ones are in the story, so the outsider makes sense. There's such a good guitar scale in that song. Like, oh my gosh, Jake Pitts and Jinx really pulled it together with this album. The guitar is fantastic in that. Sixth song on the album is Dead Man Walking, which is also Overture Part 2. Now, this is like a 2-part song. It's 8 minutes long, and honestly, in my opinion, it's my favorite song on the album. I know it's slower than the rest of the songs from other than the ballads, but So it seems to be talking about a new regimen is in place. It seems to almost be saying that fear came back. Like it's saying like, I thought that everything would be okay, everything was working, and then it's not. And so it seems to be kind of giving us details on the storyline for this album. It also sounds like Andy's saying like they're not gonna be able to win. I can't give an exact on the lyrics right now, I can't think of it, but like if you listen to the lyrics, it just sounds very hopeless, which is kind of unusual because when you look at Wretched and Divine, the album's very hopeful on the fact that they're gonna win, they're gonna beat fear, they're gonna take it down. This album and that song seems to be kind of a twist on that, saying, I don't think we can win this time. It literally says, change the world again. Again. So to me, that's a huge like detail saying that this is a sequel. Because in the first album they changed the world for the first time, and now they're changing the world again. That's what it seems to be kind of like pointing at, which like I said is another pointer at the storyline, which like I said I'll go over later because my mind's running rampant with theories on this. 7th song is Our Destiny. I don't really have a lot on this one. It's a very good song, that's for sure. But seems the one thing that I did think is when it says Our Destiny, I don't think it's talking about the destiny of the wild ones. I think it's talking about the destiny of the world as a whole. Like they're trying to save the world's destiny, not just their own. That's what it seems to be saying to me, but I'm other than that, I'm kind of at a loss on a whole lot of storyline with that song. It almost kind of seems misplaced in the song, but then again, I'm really used to Wretched and Divine, which was a very, very strict concept record, so this one is obviously not as strict, it's not as obvious with the story, so that's probably why I'm having trouble with it. It's just because I'm so used to I can hear this song and I just know what they're doing with this song and this album, what it's talking about, but with this song and some of these songs, it's a little harder to pick out. 8th song is The King of Pain, which is kind of sort of a ballad, but not a ballad, it's just a slower song. It definitely is talking about fear in it. It references fear several times. And talking about being the one to fight back, not letting them run over everybody and being like, no, we're not gonna let this happen. They're kind of fighting back. King of Pain, like I said, is a lot slower. Very beautiful song though. I really like that song. I think I've said that about every song now. I really like this song. Yeah, King of Pain is definitely slower, but has a lot of it's pointing out little details. He's making references to fear and the fight. The 9th song is My Vow, which is another single that was released earlier in 2017. It's, to me, as far as storyline, it seems to be preparing for the fight. It's kind of like they're like all getting together and they're like starting to pick up their weapons and they're marching to the fight. Like, I don't know why that's just kind of in my head. To me, that's what that song really is. And kind of like they're vowing to win. Like, this is my vow. I think it's saying, like, this is my vow that we're gonna win. We're gonna fight. We're gonna do this. This song is such a banger. Like, you just want to, like, bang your head and jump up and down. Oh, it's so good, man. It is so good. And then, of course, we have Ballad of the Lonely Hearts. So when you first kind of see the name of that song, you would think that it's saying Ballad of the Lonely Hearts isn't talking about themselves as the Lonely Hearts. That's not what it's saying at all. It is talking about fear as the lonely hearts. It's like saying, like, they're the lonely people, they're the ones doing this, they're lonely in their hearts and they're turning it on everybody else. We're gonna fight that. We're fighting the lonely hearts. So that's what that song really is to me, is it's talking about fear, not about themselves. Second to last song on the album is called Throw the First Stone. This one is such a bop. Oh my gosh, like, I can't even express to you, when I first heard this, I'm just like, oh boy, this is some heavy stuff right here. I love that song. Once again, it's talking about fear and fighting back. it's got this like, it's saying throw the first stone, which kind of reminds me of like medieval days, where like if you were a bad person, they would throw stones at you, you'd be stoned to death. So I think that's what it's referencing, throw the first stone, like you start it, you fight me, and then you're gonna regret it. At the end of the chorus, it just has this guitar breakdown where it's just like, it says fear, hate, love, take it to your grave. And you just like wanna just like mosh hardcore. It's so good. One thing I actually was curious about, a couple times throughout the album in different songs, including this one, it references love as well, but it almost makes it an incriminating thing. Like, it'll say fear, hate, and love all in the same thing. And I'm kind of curious about it, because in my mind, love would be something you're wanting to fight for, and love is a good thing, but it almost seems to make it a bad thing. And I'm not sure why. I definitely guess that it probably has something to do with the storyline, which is still kind of hard to pick out totally with this album, because it just came out and they haven't released any other videos or explanation as to the story. So, you know, this is all speculation. But, you know, when it says fear, hate, love, take it to your grave, they're talking about like fighting and killing people, and they're saying take love to your grave. Like, I don't know, it just seems odd to me, and I'm not sure where that plays in the story, but it was mentioned several times, so I know it wasn't just a mistake. It was definitely done several times. Okay, last song on the album is called Vale. This is where it ends. So this song actually really confused me. It's a beautiful song. It's a very beautiful song. It's kind of a ballad again. It says in it, can't put it back together. And it almost seems like they're saying they lost. I can't be certain of that, so, you know, don't hold me to it, but it just seems like they've given up in the song, and that kind of is, and I don't know, it's like, it just seems like they're saying they lost in this song, which is definitely a different take, because obviously in the first album they won. The Wild Ones won, Fear was overthrown, or at least that's the theory. It appears that they won. So this one is kind of, I don't know. Alright, now it's time for theory time. So, with this album, they also released a music video for the song Wake Up. Now here's the things that I need to point out about this music video. It's modern. Which I know you're all thinking like, oh, you know, that's normal, right? A modern music video, what's that have to do with thing? Well, the reason I'm saying it's modern is because in the original storyline, the fight against fear wasn't modern. It was like in this desert wasteland, they used really old-fashioned weapons, you know, people were in tattered clothes. It was this kind of post-apocalyptic scene looking kind of style, like seeing it take a modern take. Like, I mean, they're in, it would appear kind of like present day. They've got a president of the United States, or actually it wasn't the United States, they called it something else. They had a president and a newscast, and they were in a prison. It was very modern, and it confused a lot of people. It confused myself as well. I'm like, I was expecting, you know, fear and, you know, the desert wasteland and the Legion, but instead I'm seeing you guys in a modern prison with Andy being led to his execution, or more should I say, the prophet. In the original story, the story of the Wild Ones, the Legion of the Black, and Fear was a figment of Eve Black's imagination, or at least in theory. She was apparently crazy, and she saw these things in her head. Technically, it wasn't a real world, it was a different world. Now, I created a theory a long time ago about this, because we see in BVB4's music videos like Goodbye Agony, Eve Black is also there, the Fear shadows are around, and so it seems like it was coming true. So my idea was that Eve had, what she'd seen in her mind was a prophecy of something to come. It wasn't actually happening in the real world yet. It was just something she saw in her mind, and it came to life. The Wild Ones, the Prophet, the Deviant, the Mystic, the Mourner, the Destroyer, they were to be the heroes that she saw in her mind. They existed as real people, but they weren't yet the Wild Ones. So I think that the past album was the prophecy that she saw in her mind, and this album is it happening in the real world. Or perhaps because Andy in one of the songs says change the world again, perhaps they're from another reality where Legion of the Black happened, where Eve had slain it, and then they somehow came into the new world. Once again, a really complicated theory on that one that I'm really not going to go into because it would take me forever to explain, but they're now in the real world and it's happening again. Fear has come back in the modern world, taking over the government, and now they have to fight it again. That's what I think is happening here. I don't think that it's a sequel in the same reality. I think it's a sequel in two separate realities, one happening in Wretched and Divine and this one happening in Vale. Both of them follow the same idea of fighting fear, but they're different worlds. The last thing I want to talk about overall is my thought on the album. Obviously, you can tell I'm a little biased, but I absolutely love this album. I think it's fantastic. They did such a good job on it. It was well worth the 3 years wait. I think to date is the best album they've done. I will always have a special place in my heart for Wretched and Divine because that was my first BVB album that I ever owned, and it like has a special place for when I listened to it. It had a lot to do with my personal life, so it's very meaningful to me. But this album musically I think is their best one. It's not super pop, it doesn't go like insane light, but it doesn't try too hard to be something it's not, which kind of an unpopular opinion right here, but I was not the biggest fan of BVB4. I liked it, don't get me wrong, I love a lot of the songs on that album, but as a whole, to me, it wasn't as good as Wretched and Divine or Set the World on Fire or We Stitch These Ones. It felt like they were trying too hard to be something they weren't. I know that they were experimenting with their sound, which is totally cool, and like I said, it's still got some really fantastic songs on it. It just wasn't my favorite album. This album feels like they've found their place. It's a combination of BVB4 and Wretched and Divine in my mind. It's kind of combining their metal, hard rock elements that they like to incorporate, that they incorporated a lot in BVB4, with the aesthetic and some of the softer style sounds of Wretched and Divine. That's what it is, and it's such a good album, and it was so worth the wait. I so love this album. Guys of BVB, if you ever see this, I'm a huge fan of it. You guys did a fantastic job, and I'm so excited to see what you guys do next because honestly, I think it can only go up from here. You guys just keep getting better and better. It's just fantastic, and I'm so excited. Thank you for this piece of art album. I love it. Thank you for releasing it on my birthday. That was the best treat ever, and I am so excited to see the new music videos and everything to do with this story. It's gonna be fantastic. Okay, that's the video. Thank you everyone for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun making it. I really like this album. If you haven't already listened to it, definitely look it up on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Music, Apple Play. It's probably on every medium at this point. Buy it in a record store. Nothing beats good old-fashioned records. And just give it a listen. If you're not a fan of BVB, I do recommend you check this out because it's so different from their normal stuff, because they're always changing. I think that there's something for everyone in this album, and I think you'll like it. So thank you for watching, and make sure you leave a like and subscribe below. I'm going to be trying to keep up with videos more often now, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!
Good ass cheesecake. Cheesecake Factory is not overrated.
Helen is actually on fleek right now. With this purple lipstick. Got whipped cream on my finger. Oh, now I've got That's fantastic. Now I got lipstick on my hand. Okay, 6th song on the album. Hey.
I love whipped cream. I didn't eat anything all day. I slept till I think 1. And it's like 5 right now.
Okay, second to last album, or
I can't see the difference.
I don't know.